Hello world. Today I'm going to give you some information that will completely revamp your understanding of everything you think you know about health. So consider this a red pill. Doctors and nutritionists and people in the medical and health field in general, listen up because you're going to learn something profound here in about 10 minutes that may be more important than everything you've learned in all your years of schooling. No offense. We live in a time where nobody's healing anything. Nobody knows anything. The answer is always prescription drugs or surgeries to cut out the issue. Imagine your car is having issues and they suggest you completely remove the AC because, you don't absolutely need it. Would you do this to your body? Yeah, this is what we do. You go to the doctor, explain your symptoms. They type it into their computer, which is like Google for pharmaceutical companies at this point. Or actually Google it, as I've seen a doctor with my own eyes Google my symptoms right in front of me for a diagnosis. But after this, they prescribe you an inorganic pill known as medicine. And not only does this cause terrible side effects and destroy other organs, it never fixes the actual issue as it only masks the symptoms, which is like purposely blinding yourself every day, every time you saw someone or something you didn't like. Then when you run into something and get hurt, we'll just call it a side effect. That's crazy, isn't it? Now, forgive me for having such an audacity to speak this way, but people are sick and dying because of mass ignorance. This video will, for the most part, be dedicated to veganism, but as you will soon find out, in such a discussion, we will touch upon the very foundations and basis of how life is supported, that the information alone will expose how everyone experiencing this video is being poisoned as we speak. From the foods you eat and drink, medicines you use, or even what you shower with. Yet, to be more optimistic, it will also enlighten you as to what true medicine and nutrition is so you can combat any ills in your body. This isn't to instill fear, it's to give wisdom and hope to the entire world. The main discussion will be 1, what does it mean to be organic? 2, what are minerals really? And 3, that the B12 deficiency is a hoax. To begin, I'll pose a simple question to those who eat meat. If animals are the source of food and nutrition, why do animals eat? If something is a source, it is able to produce something within itself and then provide it. Whereas no animal, besides the microscopic animals which create the so-called B12 vitamin, creates minerals inside of themselves. The first clue we're all given in school to know that veganism is the healthiest lifestyle is the trophic pyramid. It's also called the energy pyramid. It shows where the source of energy comes from and how it spreads throughout the living animals in an ecosystem. As all of them show, the base of the pyramid, meaning the main supplier of energy, is vegetation. This is true underwater and also on land. The herbivore animals eat the vegetation and get the greatest source of energy, and all of their predators who eat them get a stolen secondhand source of energy, not to mention the chemical imbalances of the blood and the DNA of the tissues of the animal. To expand further, for example, your body needs the mineral known as iron, but iron as we know it is a metal. What animal is able to eat metallic iron consistently and live? No animal that exists. Sure, there are animals whose stomach acid can dissolve metals, but simply dissolving something isn't actually digesting it. It's just a change of form like ice into water. And it's even now poison in a more deadly form, being that liquids can seep into the body much easier than solids and create complications. Chemistry shows us that there are only 2 living cells in existence, which we call a living cell by the name of organic. These cells go by the name of plant cell and animal cell. I will give you 2 understandings of this word organic, one to be understood at face value and the other the scientific definition. The face value definition of organic would be any cell which can reproduce itself, basically. So a rock on the side of the road is not organic, aka it is inorganic. The rock will never increase in size by itself, and it will only deteriorate into various forms. Yet, take yourself, for example. You're able to grow in height and in size. Your bones have grown from a baby, and many times when you eat a meal, you may gain weight and expand. This is able to happen because the cells of your body, being organic, are able to multiply themselves in order to expand or heal. Your body is actually alive, a living entity. With that understood, the scientific definition of an organic cell is a cell which has a carbon comprised in it and has come from a plant or animal. All living cells, thus all organic cells and tissue, all contain the molecule of carbon. Now, with this understood, we can get to the main point of this video. Why are vegans so hostile? Just joking. But the main point of this video is to highlight why veganism is the way. To know this is to understand what are minerals, aka nutrients. Now, this right here is literally the most secretive thing, because if you actually know this and understand this thing, you'll be able to access health directly instead of being sun in so many different places looking for this. You see, the ignorance surrounding what minerals and nutrients actually are is what allows this debate to even continue, and sadly for those who think deeply, it would expose much ignorance even further to the point of making you reconsider what medicines you take, food you eat, and even the products you shower with. Let's begin with the example I mentioned before, iron. As we all know, our blood is of utmost importance to our health and well-being. Our blood has cells inside known as red blood cells, or more specifically, hemoglobin cells. Our red blood cells are made of iron combined with oxygen. Now, please answer this, because this is very important, and this is the part that can change your life if you grasp this message. If we cannot eat metallic iron because it is inorganic, which means no animal cell can assimilate, aka absorb this iron into their body, how do we get iron to feed our blood? If we take a large barrel of rusty iron screws and nails and grind them down into a powder and mix them into a smoothie and drink it, it will not become a part of your blood. You will cause massive damage to yourself, and you'll even get sick. Even if you took a dessert spoonful of iron powder and put it in your smoothie, not a single portion of it will benefit you because your cells are organic, and they can do nothing with an inorganic cell. And in fact, your body will treat any inorganic cell as a poisonous invader, and it will attempt to expel it via the emunctors of your body, mainly being your urine and skin, and whatever it can expel, it'll trap it inside, and it will turn into a clot and eventually a tumor and eventually a cancer. This information says a lot, considering as we speak, metallic iron and other metals are being sprinkled into your food and medicine, especially into our baby food, cereals, and candies merely as a coloring additive for taste or just out of sheer ignorance of what we just discussed, which is that inorganic cells cannot help organic animal cells, and instead it poisons them. Yet, we can take this same exact powder of rusty nails and screws and sprinkle it over a garden bed or farm crop. The tomatoes inside of that crop, for example, when they grow, they will have additional iron, but it is now in an organic form that is readily absorbed into your body. In this light, you may see why veganism is the ultimate healthy lifestyle for those who wish to be the healthiest possible and in order to live in harmony with nature. That was just the science and logic of veganism, but think about the philosophy of it. How can we eat something which is dead in order to promote life? Animal flesh is dead, yet fruits and vegetation is living. If you want proof, you can pick a fruit early and it will still ripen. For example, bananas and apples. Because it is still living and active, whereas meat will always immediately begin the process of decay when detached from its source. As we all know, our brain puts forth electrical currents in the body, and we are also composed of mostly water. This means our body is a system of electrolysis, which is any time electricity moves through a liquid. Vegetation is highly electric, whereas meats have no electric value. When I say highly electric, I'm referring to the ionization of the molecules. Anytime atoms combine into a molecule, they gain either a positive or a negative charge and are called ions. Vegetable molecules have a high ionic charge, whereas meat has no ionic charge whatsoever. There are even vegetables and fruits that can be used as batteries. Now, I wish to address the B12 vitamin deficiency myth. It is claimed vegans will suffer B12 deficiency if they don't eat meat because meat is the only source of B12 and will have to take supplements or tablets. Know this, B12 comes from microscopic bacteria that eat vegetation, and then the so-called vitamin is produced within the bacteria. B12 is said to be a vitamin necessary for blood function. The bacteria itself is a vegan that eats only vegetables, and in that light, who can have more B12 than a person who eats the very vegetables that the bacteria live and thrive on? Furthermore, it's iron and oxygen that produces blood, and being that the symptoms of B12 deficiency is supposedly anemia, these people more than likely have an iron deficiency. But how is it possible to be a vegan and have an iron deficiency? To be honest, it isn't. Any vegan who is iron deficient is a vegan who, rightly so, doesn't eat meat, but instead of healthy vegetation, they eat processed foods such as chips and donuts and Pop-Tarts and candies, etc., and pretty much nothing else. They're vegan because they don't eat meat, but neither are they actually eating organic vegetation, and thus they're going to lack nutrients. In all truth, there should probably be a new dietary term for people who only eat processed foods, maybe robots, when you consider how much metal and inorganic substances they load into our foods for color, taste, and preservatives. Only a robot could technically digest it all. In conclusion, we eat because our electric bodies require minerals and electricity. Minerals are inorganic compounds commonly known as rocks and metals. In the form of rock and metal, they are very dangerous and poisonous, but the moment it makes contact with the seed, root, or any part of a plant, the plant converts it from an inorganic form into an organic form by absorbing the mineral into its body, thus becoming an organic cell, and it is now nutritious. Lastly, I'll leave you with this, food for thought. We eat for energy, right? What energizes our planet? The answer is the sun. Plants literally take pure energy, which is pure light, and materializes it like some mystical magician manifesting things from their mind into their body for you to eat. Our body needs metals in organic form to become healthy, and only vegetation can do this, not a laboratory creating reduced iron. Before I go, I'm an herbalist and I own a business where you can purchase fresh and all natural organic herbs. I create teas for my local community and I ship capsule herbs worldwide. Since I use iron as an example here, if you know anybody with iron issues or someone who may have an anemia, try my all-natural iron herbal capsules made from a herb known as yellow dot, which has an extremely high iron content in a biochelated form, which just means that the plant has already digested the iron to a great degree to the point that once it touches your body can easily digest it quickly and safely. I also mix this herb with another particular herb which is extremely high in organic oxygen content. And the two gives you an instant supply of organic iron and oxygen in perfect combination for the blood to begin forming and strengthening immediately. If you look and see, many doctors are prescribing metallic iron to their patients and they only get worse while they claim it's because of poor absorption rates. Remember, it's actually because it's inorganic, which can never be absorbed. So help save someone if they need it, even if it's just simply sharing this video. I'll provide my email in the comments and video information below so you can inquire and make orders or ask questions. I started a Patreon, which I will add a link to in the comments below. On there, you can donate to my cause so I can make more videos about many things such as herbal medicines or videos specifically highlighting the metals that they're putting into our foods, or a very important one, such as what cancer really is and how to help it naturally, which we have been lied to about cancer, and it's also why there hasn't been an official cure yet. Eventually, I'll also make a video about the infamous jab. This is my first video for now, and I hope you all enjoyed it. You have learned information which I promise you is crucial and indispensable to maintain proper health that most people in the world don't even know, especially most people who claim to help us. Thanks. Have a great day. May peace be with you.